Coming up on Grady Newsource, early voting is underway in Georgia. We have a live report from Jackson County. Then Athens hosts its first ever White Cane Day walk to raise awareness for those facing blindness. And later, a local program that sets up inmates for success in life after prison. All this and more on Grady Newsource, live at 5.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College of the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening and welcome to Grady Newsource. We begin tonight with an update to our ongoing coverage of the violence in the Israel-Hamas war. President Joe Biden's meeting with Jordanian, Egyptian, and Palestinian leaders originally scheduled for today has been called off. This comes after a Gaza hospital explosion killed hundreds. Dr. Eli Sperling, a professor in the University of Georgia School of Public and International Affairs, tells us more on how the cancellation of Biden's meeting with Arab leaders affects the president's agenda.
So what this means is that President Biden was only able to coordinate with Israel and did not have the ability to speak about positions and various issues that relate to the needs of the Palestinians in the West Bank, their leadership, the Jordanian government, and certainly the Egyptians that are literal gatekeepers to opening up that southern border for Palestinians seeking refuge from the current conflict. So I think in many ways this leaves him in similar places that he began, and speaking to the Israelis is not as difficult for President Biden as it is to have such a meeting with multiple leaders in the Middle East. And I think that this sets back Biden's interest in trying to find diplomatic off-ramps and solutions and partners to speak.
The White House says that Biden met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu this morning in Tel Aviv to, quote, discuss the situation on the ground, objectives in the days ahead, and what Israel needs to defend itself from terrorism. In discussions, President Biden also made it clear that we do not want to see this conflict widen, deepen, or expand. Now we have an update to our ongoing coverage of early voting in Georgia. Grady Newsource is live in Jackson County, where there are 13 contested races happening. William Daughtry joins us from the early voting location in the county seat of Jefferson. Will, what's the latest?
Hey Sailor, how's it going? So right behind me is the early voting location where a poll worker just came out and proclaimed the polls are closed. One of the races that people are voting for is a mayoral seat in Nicholson. We spoke to both candidates, and the incumbent, Jan Webster, spoke to how she is focused on Nicholson's growth.
It's just maintaining the growth that's surrounding us. It seems that every other town is just growing just uncontrollably, and I don't want to see that happen to the city of Nicholson.
Both candidates believe growth is the biggest issue facing Nicholson. With Jackson County growing over 25% since 2010, Nicholson is seeing some of that growth as well.
Well, something's huge. You're always going to have growth. You just gotta maintain it and stay on top of it, and zoning is how you control that along with the UDC that's in place.
Webster has been in her seat for 8 years and is vying for a third term. She does not want to go back to how Nicholson was before, which is why she says she keeps running.
Yeah, so I've done 8 and would like to and honestly will, if there was somebody else that I felt like wouldn't mess it up, I don't want to go back to what we had. We have done so much. We have this.
Nichols has been active in the Nicholson community as well, serving on their volunteer fire department.
Still do the servants to the community like I've always liked to do. And there in Nicholson itself, I've been with the volunteer fire department there for over 35 years and continue to do that. And there again, it's a great community. I just want to serve the citizens in it.
There are 12 other contested elections happening in Jackson County, with 2 other elections being mayoral races. Residents have an opportunity to vote early until November 3rd. Early voting started on Monday, but Jackson County residents can take solace in the fact that they have 14 more opportunities to do so. It runs through Saturday this week, Monday through Saturday next week, and Monday through Friday the week of October 30th, ending on November 3rd. The general election will be November 7th. Reporting in Jackson County, William Daughtry, Grady Newsource. Back to you in the studio, Sailor.
Thank you for that update, Will. The Chamber of Commerce hosts a monthly event that brings women in Jackson County together. Grady Newsource reporter Hadia Williams tells us more about how business owners are forming a community for growth and support.
Every month, women who have similar goals come together to support each other and build connections at the Women in Business Luncheon hosted by the Jackson County Chamber of Commerce. Business owners like Lainey Johnson have the opportunity to promote their businesses and get their name out into the community.
I think it's really important for a business to explain why they're doing what they're doing, and mine is to help the community.
During the luncheon, Brittany Kaysen, the Vice President of Marketing at the Electric Membership Corporation, spoke on strategic planning. A raffle was held as well as an auction to fund the Future Women in Business Scholarship for a local high schooler, and vendors came to support and educate women on important causes.
KMOD is here to promote Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We want to encourage all ladies over the age of 40 to come in and get their yearly mammogram.
As this community grows, women have found a place to support each other in their goals. Jackson County's population has increased over 30% within the past 10 years, creating a larger demand for women to have a space to develop with one another and promote their brands.
When I moved here from Connecticut 18 years ago, it was a small community, and which was what we wanted, and now it just seems to have grown like Topsy.
Women in Business's next event will be a ribbon cutting at a new Jackson County business called It's All the Rage. With Grady Newsource, I'm Hadia Williams.
The Barrow County Sheriff's Office is hosting a Back the Blue cruise to raise money for a summer camp they sponsor each year for at-risk youth. Grady Newsource reporter Aiden Coulter has more on how this summer camp impacts Barrow County middle schoolers. We apologize for those technical difficulties there. We're going to move to a white cane walk. October is National White Cane Awareness Month, bringing attention to blind or visually impaired people. Grady Newsource reporter Kelsey Ball reports on the White Cane Walk in downtown Athens.
In the U.S., there are 1 million people who are blind or visually impaired. White Cane Awareness Day was started in 1964. For blind people, a white cane is essential because it symbolizes to others that they are blind or visually impaired. October 15th is National White Cane Awareness Day, and here in Athens, this Monday, they hosted their first ever White Cane Awareness Walk. People from all over Georgia, as far as Douglas County, came together to walk and raise awareness. Before the walk, participants introduced themselves and shared their own personal stories with their white cane.
I can go do my errands, and I don't have to have anybody with me because I will have this to, as Garrick said, bump into things, bump into poles. That means I didn't bump into it, my cane bumped into it.
The walk started at City Hall and ended on Washington Street.
This day is so important because blind people are always unseen. We are invisible, and it is so wonderful to have people to see us and to make acknowledgement of our greatness.
Here in Athens, we strive to be a welcoming community to everyone, recognizing that people have different needs around ability, different needs around language, different needs around experience and other characteristics. And so the presence of folks here who need a cane to successfully get around is one more way of us welcoming people into the fold that is Athens, a place we love so much.
This event will go on for many years because Mayor Kelly Gertz declared October 16th National White Cane Day in Athens, Clark County. For Grady Newsource, I'm Kelsey Ball.
After the break, we'll share more about a local coffee shop fundraising for breast cancer. You're watching Grady Newsource, live at 5.
Think retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Coffee, rock and roll, and fundraising downtown Athens. Local coffee house and study lounge says that giving back is most important to them. Reporter Olivia Potus has the story.
I think that it shows that you care about the community that you're in and that you want to be a part of that community and not just a business there to make money.
Known for its rock and roll vibe, local coffee house welcomes local bands, charities, and nonprofit organizations.
We do the fundraisers throughout the year.
As a manager, Walker helps sponsor fundraisers by posting on social media, making t-shirts, and hosting events at the coffee shop.
It's a part of a whole breast cancer awareness with music thing that people are doing. So ours, we came up with the name Tunes for Tatas. The breast cancer one right now, and that one they're doing a whole music festival on the 21st.
The American Cancer Society estimates that 9,440 women in the state of Georgia will be diagnosed with breast cancer at the end of 2023. Ava Starisky is a new worker and feels special about working for a coffee house that helps with a community.
Just coming here and asking us to help donate to their fundraiser, we're usually happy to. And I think that's really special about us because we are a small business, but we still try to help the community and fundraise in any way that we can.
Local is living up to its name.
It's a local place in Athens that everyone is welcome and everybody can go to.
Everyone is welcome, and we are here for those who need us most. You never know if we have raised enough money to help a charity or save someone's life.
The amount of money raised for this event will be calculated at the end of the month. Olivia Potus, Grady Newsource.
The Jackson County Correctional Institute is taking a different approach from its historical counterparts. Grady Newsource journalist Joe Kopsha reports on how the institution is attempting to counteract the current trend of inmates being incarcerated again.
The United States has the highest prison population and one of the highest recidivism rates in the world. Nearly 2/3 of convicted criminals are rearrested. The Jackson County Correctional Institute recognized this problem and developed a program that would rehabilitate inmates.
I was used to throwing people in jail. That's what I used to get, I get hyped up for it. I used to love doing it. But things have changed, the world's evolving. And now I'm more on helping people be successful in life.
The goal of the Transitional Center is to help those in it set up their lives for when they get out, so that they don't have to return.
Inmates within the program work various jobs within the local government, and they make money within the structure of the Correctional Institute. The program focuses around providing inmates a small amount of freedom and building a routine by going to these jobs. That way, when they get out in 12 to 15 months, they already have a routine that they can do on the outside world. In this way, it builds rehabilitation of the mind, while the money they make from these jobs allow them to buy certain things such as housing and food, so that they don't have to resort to the life they had before.
The structure of the program has helped many, as former inmate Charles Henson gives thanks to the program for his new life on the outside.
I mean, they helped me save money, and they provided a structure that was needed to have discipline when you get out versus getting out and just doing what got me back, got me there in the first place. Indescribable. When you have everything taken away from you for a substantial amount of time, and then you get it back all of a sudden, you can't describe it worse. You can't put it in words.
Henson was even able to buy a home before he was released, and while that may be a lofty goal, according to Deputy Warden Minix, he is not the only success story of the program.
Our best estimate is we got about a 65% success rate. I wish I could say more, but when the average institution is running an 18 to 25% success rate, I'll take that 65 every day.
A Clark Atlanta University study found that participants of a Transitional Center program are 11% less likely than the general population to return to prison within 3 years. The Jackson County Correctional Institute has shown improvement on that number and continues to develop a program that is helping the county as a whole. Reporting for Jefferson, Georgia, for Grady Newsource, I'm Joe Copshow.
After the break, we'll have Grady Newsource reporter Ben Patavina with more on the Olympic Games, MLB postseason, and more. You're watching Grady Newsource, live at 5.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
You're home before sunrise, on top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Welcome back to Grady Newsource. I'm Ben Patavina with what's happening in the world of sports. The International Olympic Committee has approved 5 new sports to be added to the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. Returning to the Olympics will be baseball and softball, cricket, and lacrosse. Meanwhile, squash and flag football will be making their Olympic debuts. I spoke with UGA lacrosse player Steven Sutton to get his thoughts on the sport's inclusion into the Olympics. He said he was excited about the inclusion and it was going to help to grow the sport worldwide. Now, the additions to the Olympics have also drawn the interest of several professional athletes here in the United States. Philadelphia Phillies superstar Bryce Harper said it would be a dream come true to be able to play baseball for Team USA in the Olympics. Now, speaking of Harper and the Phillies, they're now just 2 games away from returning to the World Series for the 2nd year in a row. Philadelphia clobbered the Arizona Diamondbacks 10-0 last night behind another explosive offensive performance and a solid outing by starting pitcher Aaron Nola. Looking at the NFL now, former Falcons star receiver Julio Jones has found a new home for the rest of the season. Jones signed a 1-year deal with the Philadelphia Eagles that will see him end his 14th year in the NFL with his 4th team. Jones holds the Falcons' records in several categories, including receiving yards, receptions, and 1,000-yard seasons. Now, looking locally, the UGA volleyball team will play host to SEC rival Ole Miss at 8 p.m. here at Stegman Coliseum. The team looks to continue their hot streak against the Rebels, seeking their 9th win in the past 10 meetings. That's all for sports. Coming up after the break, Gabby Kanzian will give us a look at what's in store for weather. Stay tuned. You're watching Grady Newsource.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
You know, a lot of people say, when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, that's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
Good evening, Athens. I'm Gabby Canton, and I'm your weather host for today. Today we had a high of 72, and the low tonight is 47, so those chilly evenings and nights are keeping the fall feeling going. Looking at the rest of the week in Athens, tomorrow we have a high of 71 and a low of 53, and on Friday, make sure to get your rain jackets and umbrellas ready because it will be raining and thunderstorming. Looking at the weekend, moderately good weather, both 70, 72, 73, and then lows in the 40s. In general, it's a great weekend to go outside, so maybe plan some outdoor activities. Some great hiking spots that I have found to be highly recommended from alltrails.com to look at are Mount Yonah and Blood Mountain. Mount Yonah is between Cleveland and Helen, Georgia, and Blood Mountain is between Helen and Blairsville. Both are located in the Chattahoochee-Oconee National Forest. The Mount Yonah hike is about 4.1 miles, which takes about 2 hours and 40 minutes to complete. The Blood Mountain hike, which is getting you to the highest peak on the Appalachian Trail in Georgia, is about 5.7 miles, which is around 3 hours and 16 minutes to complete. Coming up after the break, we go to digital content producer Ethan Wells to learn about how to get content outside of our show. You're watching Grady Newsource live at 5.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers. He connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own, a place that I call home, this place that I call home.
A UGA student died Saturday rock climbing in the area of the Cherokee Rock Village in northeast Alabama. 18-year-old Yutong Zhang died from a 90-foot fall, according to the Cherokee County coroner. The coroner said emergency responders were notified of the fall just after noon and worked on a, quote, lengthy and difficult recovery process. The first-year student was a member of Active Climbing, a climbing gym here in Athens. Grady Newsource content production extends beyond our live broadcast show. You can find content on our X platform as well as our Instagram platform, where you'll find today's Grady Daily. But for now, Grady Newsource digital producer Ethan Wells gives you a walkthrough of where else you can find our content.
Grady Newsource has many different means of getting content out to our viewers, even if you can't catch our live show at 5. One of which is our website, gradynewsource.uga.edu. Here you can find tons of content, including our past live streams and articles written by our Grady multi-platform journalists. Scrolling down the page, you can also sign up for our Newsource weekly email newsletter. All you have to do is enter your email address and you'll get our newsletter sent to you weekly. Looking at some social media that Grady Newsource has, one of which is our Instagram, which is @GradyNewsource. Here you can find short clips and posts about our MMJ stories, as well as our Grady Daily, which is filmed by our anchor, and they tell you 3 things that you need to know. Looking at something a little bit different is our YouTube. Here you can find all of our past live streams and videos created by our MMJs. Outside of these, Grady Newsource has many different social medias you can get information from, including Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and Threads. Ethan Wells, Grady Newsource.
Thank you for joining us tonight for Grady Newsource. I'm Sailor Betts. Have a great night, and you stay classic, Athens.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
You're home before before sunrise. On top of